Hi there, welcome to Be a Surface Pro. Today's Surface Pro tip is use OneDrive. I went looking to find any videos that we'd done on OneDrive over the last 3 years, and I was shocked to find out that we hadn't done one. So today's tip is how to use OneDrive on your Surface. OneDrive is Microsoft's cloud storage service. It's similar to Google Drive, iCloud, and Dropbox. OneDrive had a difficult start to life as SkyDrive. But these days I would say that OneDrive is actually one of the better cloud storage services out there, especially if you have a Surface. OneDrive is a standalone service from Microsoft, just like Outlook.com, but OneDrive really comes to life when you have an Office 365 subscription. When you buy an Office 365 subscription, you get 1 terabyte or 1,000 gigabytes of storage to use in OneDrive. That's a lot of file storage. In fact, it's more than you could fit on almost any of the Surface devices. By the way, if you have a large family like I do, the Office 365 Home subscription is incredible value. It allows you to give each one of your family members one of up to 6 subscriptions of Office, and therefore each person gets their own 1 terabyte of storage in their OneDrive account. As you'd expect, OneDrive is well supported on Windows 10. There are also great apps for OneDrive on iOS and Android, not to mention the OneDrive website. So with OneDrive, you can access your files no matter what device you're on. But there are several important features in OneDrive on Windows 10 that make it a no-brainer to use on your Surface. Those features include sharing, search, smartsync, and automatic saving. OneDrive allows you to share your files with others and to work on them at the same time, no matter what device you're using. For example, I can have a document open maybe in Word on my Surface on the desktop, and I could be working with somebody else who's on an iPad, and perhaps another person who's using the web version of Word. Now we can still be using that document, even though we're in different locations, we're all accessing the file at the same time, and we can see what each other's doing as we go. This is a feature that's been built into the Office 365 experience for many years now, but I'm always surprised to find that people still don't know about it. It's something that they typically associate with Google Docs, but it's actually built right here into OneDrive and Office 365. One of the key reasons that I love OneDrive is search. OneDrive makes anything searchable. There's a study that shows that the average office worker cumulatively spends about 2 weeks of the year searching for things. Now, I suspect that much of that time is actually spent searching for files. If you work at a company where they still put files on file servers or in a document management system, you've probably already spent many hours so far this year just searching for files. And I bet that it's a pain trying to get to those files when you're working from home in lockdown. File servers and document management systems often only allow us to search through file names or manually added search tags. However, when we put our files into OneDrive, we can search through any text in any file. For example, I capture all of my receipts with Office Lens. It saves those images directly into OneDrive. So on the OneDrive website, I can simply go to this search box and type in a search for something that's in a small line of text in the depths of an image of a receipt, and it will find it. Thanks to OneDrive, I just got an extra 2 weeks back in my year. But what makes OneDrive so useful on my Surface is smartsync. As I mentioned, a typical Surface might have, say, 256 gigabytes of storage, but your OneDrive account could house 1,000 gigabytes of files or more. So to stop you from overloading your Surface with all of those files, Microsoft developed smartsync. Smartsync automatically decides which files to keep locally on your device and which to leave only in the cloud. It does this based on some clever analysis of your typical file use patterns. However, even though many of your OneDrive files might not be on your device, you can still see them in the File Explorer. And you can manually tell it to keep the files that you need always on your device. So smartsync, from a Surface perspective, allows me to get my work done from anywhere, regardless of internet connectivity. Now, I know that when I used to travel, when I could, I would often go to places where you'd get a Wi-Fi connection, but it would restrict your data upload and download. So having the ability to have those files with me at any time means that I don't have to worry about it. When I do finally get onto a good internet connection, OneDrive will sync and it will just update the files that I've been working on and keep everything happily working away. So let's take a look at how to set up OneDrive Smart Sync on your Surface. OneDrive is installed with Windows 10, so you can simply look for the OneDrive cloud icon on your taskbar in the right-hand corner called the System Tray. If you haven't already set it up, click on it and it will ask you to sign in. There are two types of OneDrive account, so it's actually possible to have two OneDrive accounts on your computer at the same time. Firstly, we have a personal OneDrive account that you can sign into using a Microsoft account. A OneDrive for Business account is accessible with a work or school account. Now, if you have a OneDrive for Business account, your company admins can actually expand your storage to up to 5 terabytes of data. OneDrive for Business also allows you to sync not just your own files, but your SharePoint and Teams files too. So if you're using an Office 365 account at work, it's really handy to be able to smart sync all of those files down to your Surface. If you set up OneDrive for Business, it will show up as a little blue cloud icon. And if you set up a OneDrive personal account, it'll show up as a white cloud. Click on the OneDrive cloud icon, click on More and Settings. On the Settings tab, you'll see an option called Files on Demand. Make sure that that's ticked so that we can use that OneDrive Smart Sync feature. Now that you've enabled this feature, navigate across to your File Explorer. You'll see that OneDrive appears in the left-hand side in the file tree in File Explorer. Looking at the files inside of OneDrive, you'll notice that many of them have a cloud icon. Some files might have a green tick. Files with a green tick are on your computer, and files with a blue cloud are stored in the cloud. If you double click on one of those files that's in the cloud, it might take a second or two to download it, but apart from that, it works like normal. Now that you've accessed that file, OneDrive will keep it as a local copy for now. But if you don't touch it again for a few weeks, it might delete the local copy and just leave the item back in the cloud. If you want to make sure that certain files are always available on your device, right-click on the file and select Always Keep on this device. Those files will show up in the File Explorer with a more solid green tick. So whether you're keeping your files in the cloud or on your device, they'll always be accessible through the File Explorer or through any file dialog. So you can use your OneDrive account exactly the same way that you would use any other hard drive or network drive. You don't really have to change what you're doing much. But the beauty is that your files will be backed up and available in the cloud and on any other devices if you put them into OneDrive. And here's the real bonus. When you're working on a Word document or a PowerPoint presentation or even an Excel spreadsheet, and you save it to OneDrive on your Surface, Office 365 sets up automatic saving and version history. Have you ever forgotten to save a file and lost hours of work? I know I have. This causes an incredible amount of wasted time. But now that you've saved your document into OneDrive, you don't have to think about that anymore. Saving will happen automatically. So if something goes wrong with your computer or you accidentally close down the document, you won't lose your work anymore. What happens if you accidentally overwrite a document or you just want to go back to the way it was, but it's already been saved? Don't worry, OneDrive is not just automatically saving your file, it's actually keeping up to 100 copies of each file. They're on hand and they're easily accessible. So to roll back a previous version, what we can do in OneDrive on the web, right-click on the file and select Version History. Or even easier than that, click on the drop-down in the title bar of the document that you're working on and look through the past versions right there. OneDrive is also the best place to store and share a OneNote notebook, so that's pretty important for Surface too. So OneDrive and Office 365 is absolutely brilliant on Surface, especially when you compare it to some of the web-centric tools like Google Docs that always expect you to be online. Personally, I still use Dropbox for some of my photography because it enables some ways of working with others that OneDrive just doesn't. But for most of my cloud storage, especially for work, I use OneDrive on my Surface. Tell us what cloud storage services you use in the comments below. If you found this tip helpful, remember to give us the thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more Surface Pro tips. And they'll be available. So close. File Explorer. But in fact, I still managed to do this. Got a script.